Today's guest is Tim Surface. Tim is with Final Surge, and Tim is going to tell us all about Final Surge, what it can do for an athlete and what it could do for coaches. And thank you, Tim. Tim, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background before you show us the demo?
Sure. So yeah, I was a distance runner in high school and college. Been running most of my life. After college, I got into the marathon and kind of took a shot at trying to get to the Olympic trials in the marathon and trained very heavily for that. I think my first race was in Chicago, 2006, I believe was my first marathon. Actually missed the trials qualifier by about 2 minutes. Was going to take another shot at it, got back into my training. And kind of before I got to that next marathon, one of my friends was like, hey, you should do this triathlon with us. We're going to do a triathlon, jump in. I think it'd be a lot of fun. And I was like, sure, why not? So trained a couple of weeks for that, did my first sprint triathlon. And after that was just hooked and just kind of jumped in, all the way and had some pretty good success early on at the amateur level and won some kind of 70.3 titles and qualified for Kona in my first Ironman.
Wow.
And, at the end of 2009, I decided I kind of wanted to take it to the next level. And I had done well enough that I was able to get my pro card in the triathlon. So in 2010, I was a professional Ironman triathlete with the Timex multisport team. And really my background was all running. I had never swam or cycled in my entire life. Had never been on a road bike before I started in triathlon, never had proper form technique with the swim. So at the pro level, I was a little behind. I was coming out of the water 10 minutes behind those pro guys and then cycling by myself because there wasn't a group to ride with. So it was a great experience, learned a lot. It had always been kind of a dream of mine to be a professional athlete, and I got to do that and see what it was like. But after 2010, I kind of got back into running. There was some stuff, I hadn't yet accomplished that I wanted to in the marathon and even some ultra stuff. Got back into running and then eventually got into coaching. I was a volunteer high school coach for about 4 or 5 years and then also coached some adults. And my whole life, I've kind of been an entrepreneur. My degree is in management information systems. So I've been a programmer and I always tell people that Final Surge is kind of a blend of my two passions, which is programming and then endurance sports. And when I was coaching my high school kids, I was a volunteer. I couldn't be there every single day. I was only there 2 to 3 times a week. And I needed a way to keep track of them and assign them workouts and get feedback. And at the time, there was really only one other product on the market. And it just simply wasn't going to work for our situation. It was expensive. It was a little overcomplicated for what we needed. And I had kind of received the same feedback from a lot of other coaches I talked to. So at that time, I kind of saw an opening in the market. And in 2013, my business partner and I, we launched Final Surge. So him and I, we've been working together for almost 20 years now. We actually met in college, launched our first web development company. I was still a junior in college when we launched that. So we know each other very well and we work good together. And in October of 2013 is when we launched. And I kind of used my contacts in the running and the triathlon industry to just get the word out. And it just grew by word of mouth the first couple of years. And here we are, 5 years later. And we're doing very well, and it just keeps growing, and we love it. So that's kind of the backstory.
Awesome. So why don't you show us a little bit? Give us a demo of Final Surge. Show us exactly what it can do for both an athlete and for a coach.
Yep. Can you see my screen now? Is it
Yep.
Okay. So here at finalsurge.com. Here's our site. And first, the one thing that kind of has always set us apart is we don't charge athletes at all to use the system. It's absolutely free. We have no premium features. We don't try to charge for premium upgrades. You get everything when you sign up as an athlete, so you can plan your own training, plan it far out in the future. Set up heart rate zones, pace zones, power zones, all that kind of stuff, and we're not going to charge you for that. And that's always kind of been my way of giving back to the sport. This sport has given me so much I met my wife on the cross country team in high school. We were high school sweethearts, and we went to college together and ran together. And that was part of my life. And running gave me a free education, and all sorts of stuff. So that's a little bit how I can give back to the sport itself. The second thing that kind of sets us apart is our pricing for coaches. So with us, we don't charge a per athlete fee for coaches. It's just a fixed monthly fee. So if you see here's our athletes are free, and then coaches, we simply charge a monthly fee of $39 a month, and you can just coach up to 100 athletes for $39 a month. It's not individualized or anything, so it's very, very affordable. And this is kind of the idea I had when for the high school team, when I was coaching them, and also with a lot of high school teams that we work with and collegiate teams. They're small, they can't afford a per athlete fee. And this makes this affordable for them, as well as a lot of smaller coaching companies who, are just kind of doing this on the side, or, are doing it for extra money. This way they can keep more of their revenue. So that was kind of the premise behind what we were doing. The other thing I want to kind of point out before we get into the system is last year we spent a large portion of our time on our new apps. So, if you're watching this webinar, please come here and just, click on the app and kind of watch this video. It's a short 2-minute video. I really feel like we nailed it with our apps. We get so much feedback on this. We've made it super simple to just plan your training, track your training, and communicate with your coach. And our apps allow you to do that. And our apps actually just keep getting better and better. We're about to release some new features in those in both February, March, and April. And we're gonna see some pretty cool features in those. So come by and check this out for sure. Download it, iOS and the Play Store. And like I said, it's free. Won't charge you for anything, and you can use it to track your training.
I have a question about the app. Do you need to use Strava or Garmin in order to download the data, or can it go directly through the app?
So we have some direct syncs. So like you said, we have a direct sync with Garmin Connect. We have a direct sync with Strava. We sync directly with the Under Armour connected fitness platforms, which is like Map My Run, UA Connect, Map My Fitness. We have a couple more direct syncs coming. We have had some companies like Polar reach out to us, and we're gonna have a direct sync with them. For all other platforms right now, the easiest way is to sync it with Strava. Strava pretty much syncs with everybody, and then sync Strava to Final Surge, and that will just automatically get everything in. But if you don't use a fitness device to track your training, and you're kind of old school and you like to just log it manually, you can come in and log everything manually in our system, from your overall time and distance to laps and splits to time spent in zones, all that stuff. So it's all, we've got several ways to get all of your data into the system. So to get into the system, you would come and click login, and I'm actually already logged in up here. And so this is our platform. This is the web version. And what we found out is that probably about 80% of our users now are actually using our apps, especially all of the athletes. They're always on the go. They just want to quickly see what their workout is. Then they've got their device connected to the platform already, so their information's flowing into Final Surge. And then they use the app to quickly, send a comment to their coach and get some feedback like that. So even though we do have some athletes that do use the full platform, everyone's kind of going towards the apps these days. But all of our coaches mainly use this web platform because it's just easier to manage all of your athletes, plan out all of their training, see the month at a time when you're doing that. So, but first I'm going to kind of show you what the system would look like from an athlete perspective. So right here, this is your dashboard, and you can get to this by clicking on the home icon. And the dashboard is just a snapshot of your training, and we've given you a couple of different ways to look at it. So, here you can select, if I want to see last month, if I want to see this month, this week, and this will kind of change the chart. I don't have much this month. I'm gonna go back to last month where I have more. And you can do that by distance or duration. You can kind of toggle on and off what you want to see. So if I don't want to see my bike workouts and I just want to see everything else, I can toggle those off. Or I can come up here and say I just want to see run workouts, and then I can see my running for the week. And again, it gives you your totals down at the bottom, just a quick snapshot of what you've done. Over here on the right-hand side, we've got a quick way to get to your upcoming workouts. And then here's your past workouts that you've recently done or had scheduled, just a quick way to get to those. And then if you scroll down, we've got a chart for your time spent in zones. So this is, if you set up heart rate or power zones in our system, we track the amount of time you spend in each zone. And again, you kind of get the same options, past 7 days, past week, past month, distance and time. And what you can do is up here is the different zones that you've set up. So I've set up run heart rate zones. This is how much time I've spent in my run heart rate zones over the last month. Here, if I've set up stride running with power, I have a power meter. So if I do that, I set up my run power zones. Then here's the amount of time I've spent in my run power zones. Same with bike. Here's my bike heart rate zones, the time I've spent in there. And again, this is totally free for athletes, where I think other systems, charge to track time and zones. So that kind of sets us apart a little bit. And then down here is a quick way to get to your message board. So as a coach, you can enable message boards for your team. So if you want to keep inter-team communication, a place where they can all come and just talk to each other, you can light up message boards. And this is just a quick way for those athletes to get into those message boards. And I'll kind of take you into that when we get to the coaching aspect. So then from your dashboard, the main portion of the log would be the calendar. And this is basically all of your training. So your planned training, your completed training. This is what your coach just put on your calendar, or what you've just put on your own calendar, or if you've got a training plan, this is that. And what you notice first is we have some different colors here, and we've got two types of color coding in our system. So the first type is color coding by activity type. So our system is customizable to where you can say, I want my long runs to be blue, and I want my strength training sessions to be black, and I want my marathon pace runs to be this ugly shade of yellow. And you can come in and customize this for yourself. So if you come under workouts and customize activity types, I can come in here and I can say, well, I don't like that yellow color. I want to change my marathon pace runs to maybe a purplish pink color, and I will save that. And then when I go back to my calendar, now that marathon pace run is pink. And we do this because, especially for coaches, this is an easy way for a coach to look at a calendar. And, coaches usually say, I like to always have a tempo run every week and a long run every week. And they can just pick out those colors really fast and just see how they're setting up the week of training. So that's the first type of color coding we have. So this is fully customizable for every athlete and every coach. The other color coding that we have is your completion color coding. And what this does is, if you turn that on, it compares what you had planned and what you actually did. So if I had an hour run planned and I did the full hour, then it's going to light up as green. And if I had an hour run planned and I did maybe only 40 minutes of that hour run, it's going to light up as yellow. And then if I had an hour run planned and I did only less than 30 minutes, it's going to light up as red. And again, this allows you to quickly just look at a calendar and say, wow, this athlete completed everything, or here was a problem workout. Let me look what happened on this workout. And this is actually customizable as well. If you click this little question mark right here next to the completion button, you can customize how these colors light up. So right now I've got it set to, it's green as long as I do 20% of each side of the planned workout, and it's yellow as long as I'm within 50% of each side, and then it's red if I'm under 50. I can come in and actually customize these numbers, and the red, yellow, and the green colors will change based off that customization that I do. And then it's gray if it was not a planned workout. If there's no planned distance or planned duration on the workout, it's simply gray. And that was a workout that wasn't planned that you just did. And that way your coach can also just see, oh, there's a workout that this athlete did that I hadn't necessarily planned for him. Let me look at that. So that's what our completion color coding is. Under each week is where we show your week total. So if you click on that, you can actually see, this is actually not a good week to look at because I only had a planned mileage of 2 and I did 40 on the run. Let me find a better week here. Here we go. So, for this week, I had a planned distance on the bike of 80 miles. I actually did 83. So there was I did 4.1% more than was planned. And we showed your total duration for each activity type, and then your totals at the bottom. So you can actually see how many miles were planned and how much you actually did, and your planned duration and how much you actually did. The calendar it's drag and droppable, so you can just take a workout and drag it to another day. You can, what else? You can quickly copy a workout. If I want to copy something, there's a couple different ways to copy a workout. So I can click copy right here, and that will preload all of the information about that workout. This one didn't have much planned information on it, so there wasn't much to preload, but it was a 45-minute planned run. I could copy it that way. I can also, there's a neat little feature that if you hold down the shift key and you grab it, it will actually make a copy of the workout, of the planned information of the workout. So from a coaching perspective, if say you do a long run every single Sunday, you can just hold down the shift key and copy this long run really quickly all over the place. And that saves a lot of time from a coaching perspective. And then also we have a workout library. So if you've got some planned workouts that you use a lot of the time, you can click our workout library button right here, or you can come to the day and select library. And these are workouts that, let me say I'll filter on run here. And like I said, it's stuff that you use over and over and over again. So I can come here and here's a fartlek run that I like to use. So I can just take that run and just grab it, drag it onto the calendar, and it will populate that run on the calendar. Or I can click the run here and it will pre-populate all of the planned information and say I want to change it really fast to a 40-minute fartlek instead of a 50-minute fartlek. I can do that right there before saving it to the calendar. Navigating the calendar is pretty simple. So you can either click the left or right buttons at the top to switch by months, or you can click here and you can easily switch years or go to a specific month within a year. Then we also have some additional views. So this week view, we have some athletes and coaches that like to see stuff just laid out in a week. So here I'm looking at the week of January 8th. I see everything that's on that week, the full description, and I look at it like that. And then we have other coaches and they like to see more than 1 month at a time. So, maybe they want to see this 6-week view where it's going to show 2 weeks previous and 3 weeks forward of the current week. So now I'm going to see, I'm seeing December 25th to February 4th. So I can see a lot more of my calendar using the different views up here. And then finally, if I'm part of a team and I want to see my team calendar workouts, this is an option I can toggle on and off. So here's some team calendar workouts. So we have, as I take you into the coaching aspect, I'll kind of show you the team functionality. We have a lot of coaches that run training groups out of our site. Maybe they have a big 5K training group, or even for like a high school or a collegiate coach, all the athletes are pretty much on the same schedule. So they'll utilize team calendars. And we allow you as an athlete to kind of toggle that on and off in your view when you're looking at your calendar. What else here? So the other thing I want to take you into is our daily vitals. Let me go to where I've got some of that information. So on this week, you'll see I have a bunch of little hearts in the corner. I've added vitals for that. And your vitals is kind of your fitness trackers that kind of track your steps, your weight, resting heart rate, how much you've slept. We allow you to track that activity. And, if you come to a day and you click on the plus sign and you select edit vitals, that will take you to this screen and you can add vitals right there. And then if there's a heart icon in the corner, that means that you've added vitals for that day and your coach will see that heart so they can simply scroll over it and see what your vitals are for the day. We've made the vitals a big part of our apps, our iOS, Android apps. So like one of the main navigation buttons at the bottom of the app is vitals. So we really encourage athletes to fill those out because more and more we're seeing that, our coaches are looking at those, especially stuff like HR variability. That's a new big metric that people are looking at. Coaches want to see, are you ready to train? So they're asking their athletes to fill that out. And we're actually syncing data with a couple of apps right now. I believe Elite HRV and HRV for Training. Those are both apps that record heart rate variability and resting heart rate. And if you have those apps, it will sync data directly to Final Surge. So this information will be automatically populated. So you can add vitals that way. And then we also have a main vitals tab up here at the top. And this will actually show you, it's similar to what I showed you on the dashboard where you can look at different ranges of your vitals. And then it will actually chart vitals for you. So you can kind of see trends. So if you want to see trends of resting heart rate and HRV and your weight, this will allow you to do that. And these same type of charts are in our apps as well. So we've kind of put, again, a big focus on this. Up here, we have gear and routes. So we have a lot of athletes that, they want to track mileage on shoes or they want to track mileage on their bike. So here we'll allow you to add a new shoe and we kind of show you how much mileage you currently have on that shoe. That allows you to do that. You can upload a picture of the shoe. Same way with bikes. So, if you have a bike that you're riding, you can track mileage on your bikes, actually track mileage on each tire if you want to get that detailed with that. And so to log that information, well, actually, let me show you how to log a workout from an athlete perspective. So if you don't have your Garmin or your Strava account synced to Final Surge and want to manually add a workout, you would come to the day, click on the plus sign, and we have two features. We have the quick add and we have the full add. The quick add is our most, highly used feature. So really just, the activity type, the name of the workout, let's just say hill repeats, the workout description, so 8 times 10 hills with downhill recovery. As an athlete, a lot of times you're not planning your own training, but if you do want to put a planned distance or duration, you can expand this and you say, I have a planned 8-mile run today. That's how much I want to get done. And then this is your completed information. So, say you actually completed 7.5 miles of it, 56 minutes, and it's going to auto-calculate your pace. And then this is how you felt. Great, good, normal, poor. And this, we've also put a big focus of this in our apps for the how you felt and the perceived effort and the post-workout notes and results, because we're finding that our coaches that are using Final Surge, this is really the information that is important to them. They want to know how athletes felt after the workout, and they want to see this feedback. Even more so sometimes than how the data of the workout. They want to see how hard was this workout for you? How did you feel overall? They use that when they're adjusting their athletes' training. And then down here, if it was a race, you can mark this as a race, and you've got your overall place, age group place there. And then if I wanted to save this workout to my workout library to use it later, I would check that box and it would save it. So that is our quick add feature, and then it adds it there to the calendar. And then we have a full add feature, the full add, and this is pretty much everything you could possibly want about the workout. So you've got all the stuff in the quick add, the name, the description, here's your planned distance and duration, the basic workout statistics. We also have this advanced interval feature. So if you don't have a Garmin and you've manually done a workout at the track, with just a regular old stopwatch, and you want to add that in, you can come in here and say, I did 6 by 800 meters, and I was averaging 3 minutes, and then you can come in here and do the individual reps. Maybe I was 305 on this one and 307 on that one, and I took a recovery jog of a minute between each rep. You can copy all that down, and this is where you can actually log individual repetitions if you don't have a Garmin that's automatically taking splits for you, or you have the basic workout information. Then again, here's the how I felt, perceived effort, but then you have all of this additional information. So here's your post-workout notes, how you felt. Here's equipment. So here, if I've added shoes, here's where I will select what pair of shoes I did my workout in, and it's going to show you how many miles was on that shoe, and that's going to add this workout to it. If you are tracking routes, you can select a route that you use on a regular basis, and it'll show you what route you used. And we have some people that like to keep their warm up and cool down separate. So if you're one of those people and you want to say, I warmed up a mile and here's my warm up shoe, and here I cool down and here's my cool down shoe. And this is something that I was actually using myself. So when I was training for the marathon and I was trying to get to the trials, I would have my trainer that I would warm up and warm down in, but then if it was the track workout, I'd switch into my flats or I'd switch into my spikes. And, so I'd have different mileage on different shoes within one workout. And that allowed me to kind of separate all that. And then you can also have the weather, how the weather was. You can mark these and put the temperature in. And then actually here's a manual way to enter. If you've set up heart rate zones, you can actually enter manual time, how much time you were in each heart rate zone. And again, most people are going to have their Garmin connected. They've got their heart rate zone set up. So this information is just going to flow into the system. But if you need to come in here and enter it manually for some reason or adjust it, you can do so. They can add the workout, and it will add all of that information. And as you'll notice, this is kind of a theme in our site that everything is collapsible and expandable. And this is all kind of based off cookies. So however you leave it, the next time you come back, it's going to be this way. So, if you're an athlete and you don't like this section, and you can collapse it, and it's always going to stay collapsed. So it's kind of out of your way, and you don't have to worry about it next time. Same way with coaches. So then let me show you what a workout would look like if you've connected your Garmin or your Strava account. So first, to connect a Garmin and Strava account, we have two different ways. We have a Garmin button right here, or if you come to workouts, we have Garmin device upload. And then here are the different options we have right now. So if you want to link your Garmin account, link your Strava account, or Under Armour Connected Fitness. And then if you want to manually upload something, you could come into one of these options here and just manually upload a fit file or a TCX file. So if I wanted to link Garmin, I would click on that. And I've already got my Garmin link, so it says, you're already synced up, but this is where you would come. And this option right here says automatically merge workouts with planned workouts on my calendar. So if I'm following a training plan, or if I have a coach, this says, when the Garmin workout comes in, we're going to try to match it up with the planned workout, and we sync those workouts up. Where we do have some athletes that they actually want to keep their workouts separate. They're using the training plan, but they don't want the workout to match up. They want to see the planned workout on the calendar, and then on the same day, they want to see the completed workout, and they want to keep them separate. So they could uncheck this box and keep those workouts separate. But this is how you can sync Garmin. And then here is the workout that was imported through the Garmin sync. And this is actually a workout where the runner had a stride power meter and he was running. So it's got a bunch of additional data on it. And pretty much any data that's coming in the Garmin Connect, we're going to be able to capture that data and display it in Final Surge. So, with the power meter, we've got average power, max power, your weighted power, 30-second max average, intensity variability. Then we've got some of the new power metrics that like stride is showing, like leg spring stiffness and your form power. That's showing up. Average stride length, vertical oscillation. So all of your running dynamics data can be seen here. And then here's all of your laps. So, if you're taking laps, this is a per lap stuff, just like you would see in the Garmin Connect. Here's your map. And then all the various charts that would go with the same data. So pace, elevation, heart rate. Here's the running dynamic stuff, stride lengths, leg spring, vertical ratio, vertical oscillation. And then this is all by distance or by time. And you can, drill down into this, zoom into it. You can enlarge the chart and really zoom into it from this way. And then we also have an advanced analysis option. And if you click that, that is going to chart everything at once. And then you can toggle on and off, what you don't want to see here. And you can zoom into a specific segment. And down here is going to show you the averages for that specific segment that you zoomed into. So these are for those athletes and coaches that really want to drill down into the data. It's going to zoom into the portion of the run that you were on or the bike that you were on. And then you can zoom out, get back to that. Let me go back to the workout. And then I have set up heart rate and power zones. So it's also going to calculate how much time I spent in every zone. So here are my run heart rate zones. I can view by a chart as well, or I can view it as a pie chart. Same way with the power zones. I set up running power zones. And again, I can see it by duration and then by time. To set up your running and power zones, that is under the workouts, and you would come to HR power zones right here. And this allows you to set up all of the different zone types for every single activity type. So for the run, for the bike, and we're working with several kind of well-known coaches who have let us use their zones for pre-calculation. So we've got permission from like Andrew Coggin and Joe Friel to use their zone. So if you want to use the Coggin bike heart rate zones, you would select Andrew Coggin and put in your threshold value and select apply, and then it's going to automatically calculate those zones and put in his names that he uses for his zone types. And then you can update that and it's going to save those zones right there. Or you can customize your zones. So, you can make your own, you can name these whatever you want to, add additional zones and change these ranges however you want to. But we've got a number of different pre-calculated zones for you, kind of depending on what you're looking at, if it's heart rate, power, if it's run, bike, with that.
Wow.
In addition to kind of going with some of the zone pre-calculated zone types we use, we have some calculators in our platform, and we've gotten permission from all of these coaches to use those. So the intensity calculator is just kind of like our own little thing and gives you some basic paces to run. So if your PR is 16 minutes in the 5K, this kind of shows you some equivalents based off that 5K time and shows you some VO2 max splits for that. We work with Hansen's running. So this is the Hansen's marathon method calculator. So if you're a 3-hour marathoner, you can put in that and it's going to tell you all of their pace types for the different workouts they use. So your easy paces, your moderate paces, your long run paces, and your equivalent performances for races. This is the Greg McMillan calculator. We're actually the only other site in the world that has access to the McMillan calculator. He's given us access for that. So if you're a 5-minute miler, you can calculate that. And this is going to calculate all of your McMillan paces. So, these are your paces for your recovery jogs, and these are your tempo and easy run paces. And then down here is all of your equivalent race times as well, based off your current time. So we've got a bunch of handy calculators and tools built in to Final Surge that you can have access to. And those are also in our apps. Let's see what else here. And then finally, I think we've got our reporting feature right here for athletes, reports and statistics. You can click on that. And this allows you to kind of run reports on your own training data. So you can pick a start date and an end date, and you can just filter on specific types. So if you want to see all of your tempo runs, your lactic threshold runs for the last month, I can filter on that and just see all of those. And then it gives me a really quick report to where I can see what the workout was. I can see what my plan time was, my actual time was, and it just kind of lets you mine your data. And I'll kind of show you this. We have a little more complex report for the coaches, very similar to this, but I'll show you that once we get to the coaching aspect of things. And then also, as an athlete who has a coach, you may be getting mail from your coaches. So here's our mailbox, and this is kind of our own internal email system within Final Surge. And the cool thing about this is, like, as a coach, if you send mail to your athletes, so since I do have a coaching account, I can send an email to a specific athlete, or I can say, I want to send an email to everyone on this team, and it's going to send an email to that entire team. Or we have the ability to break teams into multiple groups. I could say, I just want to send an email to a specific group. This allows me to do that. And then, you have a subject, you have a message, you send that. And as long as the email originates from the platform, either through this or through our apps, and actually our mail functionality is our next big release in our Final Surge iOS and Android app. I think we're about 2 weeks away from releasing that. As long as it originates from that, the athlete will get a copy of it. They'll get a push notification on their phone that they've got a new message, and then they can respond to the email in their own inbox, whatever email program they're using, and we're going to capture that response and store it here in Final Surge. So you're going to have all of your communication in one place. So you can either respond from inside the system, or you can respond from your own email program, and that's going to be captured in here. So you can have a full history of all of your communication.
So I just want to thank you, Tim, for the webinar today. This was so informative. It really was. It definitely helped clarify a lot of things for me.
Sure,
so
awesome.
I was really excited about that. And I think that everybody else, who watches this in the future will definitely get a lot of information. What I'd like you to do is just give me your contact information as to, how somebody can get in touch with you if they do have any questions about Final Surge.
Yep. The best way is just to either, you can either go to our website, finalsurge.com, and go to the contact form. All those just usually come directly to me, or email info@finalsurge.com, and I will get that. And I'm usually pretty quick to respond. Email is usually the best way to get in touch with me. So yeah, but if anyone has any questions, more than happy to answer those, and do any other additional demos that need to be done if there's some coaches that want to dig into a little more of these features a little bit more. Yeah, we'd love to do that. I really appreciate the time that you've given us to show this.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And remember, when you do call or contact him, tell them that you saw it on We Are Triathletes. Thank you again, and we'll see you next time.